terrorists have a new policy.
As far as targeting,
what is your roadmap of dealing with targeted killings?
Sorry?
How do you, Syed Zafar Islam, intend to provide safety and security given the onset of this new phenomena of hybrid terror?
See, as you rightly mentioned also, and I was repeatedly telling you that the organized terrorism by terrorist organization that has been severely curtailed. But this new phenomena has come up where students, young boys and young professionals, they come across as a professional or student, and they are resorting to this kind of a hybrid terrorism. But the government has, and of course the Ministry of Home Affairs had a very detailed meeting even today, and they are also deliberating, taking every input from everyone, from the DGP, from the army, from the forces, and I'm sure that they will take appropriate action, appropriate decision to deal sternly with this kind of situation as well. Because overall, if you see, the terrorism has come off, and that's why they are resorting to this kind of tactics where they will never come across as a terrorist, but as a student, as a professional.
No, but it's the new reality. You can't get away by saying that because they've taken action, therefore they've changed their tactics. You need to have a better explanation of A, why are young professionals and young students picking up the gun as early as they are, and what do you intend to do to ensure this stops? Ifraj, you've got a statement out from the KPSS, the Kashmiri Pandit Sangharsh Samiti, asking Kashmiri Pandits to leave the Kashmir Valley. The government very keen that they stay and continue to grow their numbers. However, what do you think the government should be doing? What is it that you think is wrong with the current strategy? What would you like to see the government do?
You see, for past 90 days, Kashmiri Pandits are actually sitting on roads at various points, protesting and saying that they want to go back. In fact, if you heard the relatives of Mr. Sunil, who was shot dead today, even his relatives said something similar, saying that we've been protesting and they've been protesting against the administration. So KPSS has not just suddenly come up with this statement asking the Pandits to leave. It's been building up for a lot of time, but unfortunately, the BJP government, instead of focusing on what our minorities are going through, is constantly going and it's constantly working on this, as it's been said, manufacturing a sense of normalcy for everybody else, so that their electorate in the rest of the country is happy and they do not get to know what the actual reality on ground is. One thing we have now, thankfully I guess, or very eerily I must say, noticed is that one thing we have clearly noticed is that every measure that the BJP government has taken so far, unfortunately, has not led to the end of terrorism in the valley. And in fact, whatever measures they've taken has actually backfired. And now, Article 370 abrogation, which I have constantly called, the National Conference has constantly called, as a punishment to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, has not worked. So it's very clear that the first thing that the BJP government should be doing is stopping this collective punishment to the 1,20,00,000 people of Jammu and Kashmir by taking away their right to vote and to form a state assembly, by literally degrading them into a union territory, by humiliating them. So that is the first thing that the BJP government should absolutely not be doing. And the second thing which is constantly being said is that Article 370 led to situation getting better. On the other hand, the same contradictory statement that I heard is that it's now led to a very dangerous sort of terrorism, the hybrid terrorism which has come to force.
We are calling hybrid terrorism a side effect of the abrogation of Article 370. Let Syed Zafar Islam respond. The fact that hearts and minds are disconnected more than they were earlier, which is why young students and young professionals are picking up the gun without having to go to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir for indoctrination. They're getting indoctrinated staying right here because that's how irritated and angry and frustrated they are.
Well, it is absolutely baseless, Rahul, because all the statistics suggest that prior to abrogation of Article 370, what was happening in the state and the valley and what is happening currently. You can see the statistics, you can see the numbers, and you can your own infer that how the situation has improved. You see the number of tourists visited Jammu and Kashmir. Every room was sold out in Jammu and Kashmir this year. What does that suggest? The people are feeling comfortable, people are feeling secure, people are feeling that there is a momentum, there is a positivity in the valley.
Tourism is no proxy for how locals feel, sir. Tourism is not a proxy for how locals feel.
I'm not saying that. No, let me just complete. Of course, it is. And because they see that the business is growing, they see what Kashmir is known for tourism, and that was something which was not happening in the past. Now at least they see there's a lot of momentum there, people are coming, and business is flourishing, and they're extremely happy. Also, the welfare scheme, which never used to reach in the valley, but now it is reaching to the common man in the valley, and they are extremely happy that there's a government which is actually safeguarding their interests by providing them a lot of support. So it is unfair to say even that Article 370, after abrogation of Article 370, students or young minds have actually taken a different stand than they should have been taking. In fact, they are feeling much better.
Okay, let Ifra Jan respond to this, because just as a personal anecdote, we were trying to book we were trying to book a room in Gulmarg, Ifra, for New Year's. I want to take my young son, I want to teach him skiing. We couldn't get a room because those rooms were already booked out. We're only in August and this is for December, which suggests, as Syed Zafar Islam would say, that more and more people are going and more hotels are coming up in places like Gulmarg. More room capacity is being created because Kashmiris are investing now in the Kashmir story because they see things getting better.
You see, you are actually right when it comes to tourism numbers in this year. But this has been the biggest number last 10 years in the midst. Under the National Government in 2008 and 2009 especially, we have actually had more tourists come in. So it's actually an achievement for the BJP government that for the first time they've been able to match the National Conference numbers on tourism. Again, tourism is no metric for how a Kashmiri Pandit is feeling. You, Zafar Islam Sahab, cannot go to the Kashmiri Pandit family today and say, "Arey, itne tourists aa rahe hain, aap kyun pareshan ho rahe hain?" We, for that matter, we have Ravinder Rana sir, who is the president of Kashmiri
we are talking about the improvement.
State BJP.
How
he
it is getting better.
said that we will punish the perpetrators. Ever since he has made that statement, 90 civilians have died, out of which around 60 have been Kashmiri Muslims. Now, one last point that Mr. Zafar Islam has been saying is that Kashmiris are happy, Jammuites are happy to not get to speak on the behalf of the electorate. The electorate speaks through vote. But unfortunately, the BJP government has not allowed the people of Jammu and Kashmir to vote in their state assembly for the last 9 years.